So now I would like to bring up to the mic another one of our stars that we represented, that was being represented here in our CCM magazine, Mr. Percival LaTouche.
Madam Chairperson, members of the head table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my task is very easy. It's another first. 1965 in London, my sister, my elder sister, was living in Birmingham, England, and at that time I was the owner, operator of a Chevron petrol station. I said to myself, while my sister is out there working with someone else, she could come and work with her brother. And when I went from her to take her to London with her 2 children, she showed me a certificate that she has just passed out as a computer programmer. Now, that was before my time. I wasn't even thinking about what's that mean. Today, I see this young company, this young group who want to launch the Caribbean magazine with a wealth of experience at their age, where we are far ahead. Today is another first. I wished that this magazine will go like electric across the Caribbean. I hope that everyone in attendance will pass it on to the next person who did not have the chance of being here tonight. These young ones here, Carl, Anthony, Esther. Look at them. They're of my age, and where they are, I mean, they are well advanced in technology. I am pleased. I am proud of what they're doing, and I hope that the Jamaican government, and I'm trying my best to get all of them to meet with some of our ministers, especially Minister Paulwell, Minister Anthony Hilton, the Minister of Housing, Dr. Guy, and I'm not sure if the Jamaican media is here, but I am asking Esther. I will try and connect her with one of the morning program, that she will get a live speak on the program, so the nation will know exactly what took place here today. And Tuesday, Michael and Kathy will meet with the Minister of Investment and Industry, Investment and Commerce. And then the 5th, Michael and Kathy, and I hope that Esther and Carl will be here to meet with the Minister of Housing and the Board of the National Housing Trust. That is I'm playing my part, and I must say again, thank you guys for making this a Caribbean venture, and I wished you all the best, and we'll continue to work with you to make sure that your fulfillment comes true. Thank you
So much, Mr. LaTouche. Thank you so very much. So next we'd like to call up Mr. Jackie Stuart to give us a few words on science and technology. Mr. Stuart? Okay.
Thanks very much, Esther. I don't know if I can speak on science and technology. I can speak a bit on some of the research that I'm doing in renewable energy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to be here this afternoon to participate in this launch of the Caribbean Commerce magazine. This magazine has come at the right time because Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean countries are struggling in terms of business. And I'll tell you the reason why in a short while. The magazine is going to be addressing cultural issues in the Caribbean, and it will address some of the situation that we are lacking in the Caribbean to expose ourselves to world business. We no longer can do business as a country, Jamaica or the Caribbean. The wider world is open for us. And I think the magazine is well placed to bring the opportunities and ideas, some of the innovations that we have in the Caribbean to the rest of the world. That is not yet achieved. I just would like to speak on a few examples. I worked with telephone company, cable and wireless, for all my life as an engineer and a manager. And I must say I was part of a group that initiated cell phone in Jamaica. And the telecommunication network in Jamaica is perhaps equal to a first world. And we have a good telecommunication infrastructure today that we are proud of. Very little is known about that telecommunication other than the use of cell phones. But there's a lot of things that we can use it for education, and Anthony, I know, has written a number of apps that we are going to be using a telecommunication network as how we would use it in a first world country. Just to give you an example, we have a problem in Jamaica in terms of energy. Energy is one of our main problems, and a lot of large companies, medium-sized companies, are closing their doors because they cannot pay the electrical bill. I had a call yesterday from a gentleman in Ocho Rios. He has a hotel, 30 rooms, and he is paying 900,000 Jamaican dollars a month for that hotel. That is not too bad. There's a factory in Spanish Town that is paying over $12 million Jamaican dollars for light bill. And we talk about renewable energy in terms of wind, photovoltaics, and all these kinds of things. But we have not had a very large system as yet to show how we can use renewable energy to achieve our goal of reducing energy cost. I myself is doing some basic research, I would say, basic research. And Oswald mentioned about thinking out of the box. If we're going to continue to do what we're doing for many, many years, we'll never get out that box. And I'm going to give you a little example. A friend of mine wanted a refrigerator because the one that they had was 15 years, 20 years old. And it was burning a lot of electrical power. So I invited them down to Crossroads. There are 3 main appliance shops in Crossroads. And when I walk into number 1, I look for a yellow label. Right? It's an Energy Star refrigerator, which they advertise quite a lot in US and Canada. that, you know, you can get some energy reduction on. But I wanted to see what was on the label inside those machines. The manual was not inside the machine, and I saw a little label stuck up inside the face of the door. And when I looked in it, it was a 60 cycle equipment. 120 volt 60 cycle equipment. Now, as you know, in Jamaica, if you use a 60 cycle equipment, or a 60 hertz, I should say, equipment, on a 50 hertz, which we have in Jamaica, you have a loss of energy of 20% in efficiency. So although you're buying a computer, a refrigerator, washing machine, all right, that is advertised as energy efficient, you're not achieving that level of efficiency. And I went to the store manager, and they said that's all they had. I said, all right, let me not check the store again. Let me go to the second store, which is nearby in Crossroads. And I went to the second store, the same story. We have no 50 hertz equipment in Jamaica. I went to the third store. No 50 hertz equipment in Jamaica. So I said, how are we going to use a 60 cycle made equipment on a 50 hertz and gain the efficiency in energy in Jamaica? I said, well, the equipment will burn out in a short while, and you know, very casual. But it does not work very well, I can tell you that. Right? Even on your motors, any machine that you use a 60 cycle made machine on and 50 hertz, you're not getting the efficiency out of it. So I decided to look at it. It is a problem, I must tell you. When I look on the history of Jamaica, and we talk about a lot about energy and putting in new LNG and this and all kinds of new generators, but not one person has spoken about what is our frequency in Jamaica, which is very odd, and what the world is manufacturing equipment. Canada, 60 hertz. United States, 60 hertz. Europe, 60, 50. But a different frequency, voltage. So we have some basic problem to solve. If you bring equipment from Canada, it will not work efficiently in Jamaica. We have to do some modification in Jamaica. And that problem existed from the day that we introduced electricity in Jamaica, which was 1892. A problem in Jamaica from 1892 has not yet been solved. Right? Not yet been solved. And we have the technology to solve it. So I went home, and I decided to do some work on this piece of equipment. Because I looked at it, I said, what we could do is perhaps change the compressor to 50 hertz, or change the motor of a washing machine, but that would not be practical. So I developed a system, which will soon be on the market, along with my son is an engineer in the United States, to generate 60 hertz from your 50 hertz supply. And you plug your equipment in there, and then you'll have efficiency, as you should have efficiency in that piece of equipment. But this problem existed over a long period. So although we have problems in Jamaica, the point I'm making that there are many, many opportunities in Jamaica, and every problem will bring an opportunity, right? The question is, how do you manufacture this equipment in Jamaica at a reasonable price that a customer can pick it up for a few dollars? And we have solved that problem. I had to go to China, communicate with China. You can't build that piece of equipment here. I don't know about Canada, although I was schooled in Canada. You can't build that piece of equipment here. And I'm getting some help in Canada, but in China. But we have to be very, very careful of the Chinese market, I can tell you that. 2 years ago, I had to go to the United States to develop an electric car in the United States. because it could not be done in Jamaica. I didn't have access to the tools and the parts that I needed. And I traveled to China because I wasn't trying to develop a car, so to speak. I was trying to develop a drive on a car. So I journeyed to China and I purchased a small vehicle. Right? I wanted just the shell. They say they can't sell the body only. So I had to purchase a whole body and ship it to the United States and then develop a drive system. But here we are in Jamaica. And I'm going to tell you something. It is very, very difficult, right, for technical stuff to be developed here. Very, very. A few weeks ago, I imported a component, and that component cost about $30 US. I had to go to the airport to clear that document, and it took me 1 hour and a half to clear the to clear that part. I had to go to 4 desks. $30 US. 1 hour and a half to clear that one component. So I hope by us talking about it, Mr. LaTouche, you're talking about returning residents and things like that. And I know you have access to the media. If you could just raise some of these things, because the Canadians are ready to help us and other people are ready to help us, but there are great barriers here in getting things done, right? And I don't want to just gloss over it because it is true. It is a fact. So I'm going to go now on to some of the things that I'm doing in terms of research. Energy is a problem in Jamaica. It is a problem in terms of manufacturing, right? We have to be able to bring down the cost of energy. We can purchase equipment, solar panels, and that will work in Jamaica very well, but it's a very expensive technology, I must tell you, right? And it works very well. We know several systems are now working in Jamaica, and that works very well. So we can look at solar, but there is one little bit of area that we have not explored enough. We have done wind, but I can tell you that as an engineer, wind is not viable right across the island. There are some areas in Jamaica that you have enough wind that you can run a wind turbine in Jamaica, but it's not available to the individual. The area that I look at that we have a lot of power is in our ocean wave technology. And I've tapped into that to see if I can come up with a small model that will generate on a modular basis no more than 5 kilowatts per hour that will satisfy people living along the coastal region of Jamaica at a reasonable price. How this equipment is going to be manufactured? Again, in the design I had to take everything in consideration. How you design this equipment, material costs, how you get it, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to look to Canada for some assistance on this. Because if you take expensive energy to manufacture a product, it's going to turn out to be pretty expensive, right? So I'm looking at that. Other areas that I'm doing is we talk about the extraction of biofuel, right, from a plant seed. How are we going to do that extraction? By crushing, I suppose it's a mechanical mean of crushing that. Certainly we would like to look at some other way we can extract oil from other plants, like our orange tree or lime tree and what have you. But it seems to me that that old technology of crushing and grinding a plant to extract oil and what have you, there are other more modern technology of doing that. And I certainly would like the opportunity to share this with my friends from Canada and to see how we can move with that new technology of crushing, a bean. But there are many, many opportunities, and as I say, the more problems you have, it seems that you have more opportunities to solve in there. But you've got to think out the box. It has to be different. Many opportunities exist in Jamaica. And I'm bombarded by a number of calls every day. I want this done, I want that done. I'm a one person. I'm not connected to a university at this point in time, and I certainly would like the assistance of Canada, where I went to McGill University to do research in renewable energy. I've not made contact with them in recent times, but I would love to establish that again so that I can continue with the research I'm doing. And thank you very much.